What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Weber here, and we are back with RevEelooTion episode. I'm Weber, your tour guide through the Kerbal solar system, and today we're going to be building the third of our vehicles that are going to Eeloo. This guy here is going to be our space station around Eeloo. See, we're sending, as we said before, 4 Kerbals to Eeloo, and two are going to stay in orbit. Sort of like a crew that isn't on the ground. Not sort of, actually. So we're building this thing. Obviously, if they're in space, they're going to want some artificial gravity. So those 2 outer ones that I haven't attached them yet, those are going to have artificial gravity. And right now I'm just figuring out how to get our solar power onto the station. There he is, sticking those 2 on there. And I also added those 2 cupola modules there because, hey, might as well have a nice little, I don't know, a viewing area for them if they're out there. Don't want them to get too upset. They'll probably get on each other's nerves, so that's a good place for them to just hang out when things are getting a little sad, I guess. No, not sad. When they're getting annoyed by each other. I imagine it's probably going to be Bob and some other random Kerbal here, so yeah, there we go. The 3 get along, but who knows how well Bob gets along with the other guy. And I'm actually adding lights to this thing because why not? This thing's going to look really pretty, I think, when it's done. And might as well add some lights. And here we are, adding the nose cone on the top because of the new aerodynamic system thingy, I guess. And I also added 2 of those Rocco Max. They're not Rocco Max, whatever. The little decoupler thingies that send it off. It can go flying off into space without having to worry about anything. And here we are building, the standard transfer stage, keeping in mind that I want it probably, if I can, a little bit of extra fuel because we put those 2 docking ports on the outside, and that's pretty cool. Another ship will be able to dock with this thing while it's spinning. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I might try to do that, I might not. But yeah, it should be able to dock with another ship while that is spinning. And yeah, so that's the total construction of the ship. And I just added a little, transfer stage down there at the bottom. And we have another pretty standard launch into orbit with this thing. It looks like a space kite, I think. I think this is the Pinta, perhaps? Yeah, the Pinta, because that one was the one that was in the middle. We should have named it the space kite instead of the Pinta. Who would have known that it would look like a kite when I was planning it out? So I think, this seems like a pretty comfortable place to stay. I think they're not going to mind staying in this. They're probably going to be a little bit sad to leave it behind because it's going to give them oodles and oodles of space to stay in when they're around Eeloo. Unfortunately, it's not the orbit, the vehicle that they're going to be transferring there in. They're going to have less than half the space for the 4 of them to transfer from planet to planet. And so it's a good thing that they have taken their community building training. Yes, I saw them the other day. The Kerbals were falling backwards into each other's arms as part of a trust exercise, which apparently tells us whether or not they're going to kill each other on the year or more journey out to Eeloo. And there that goes launching off. That looked pretty cool. That worked out well. I enjoy it when those things launch off. I think that's fun. And here we go, bringing it right into orbit. Nice and easy, and here it is all lit up with the solar panels out. And I'm just going to assume that those I sort of wish you could lock the solar panels from moving. Wouldn't that be nice? Hopefully they add that for 0.23 tweakables. If you could lock it from rotating like that, that would be great. Because then it wouldn't look so weird with these solar panels colliding into those struts. I imagine in real life they probably would lock them so they don't collide with the struts. But nevertheless, that is how this is working, and they have a little thing here for their satellite television when they get out to Eeloo. Because, you know, doing science can only entertain you for so long. You're going to want to watch the Kerbdashians. Yes, that's quality programming for Kerbs. So here's a little extra thing that I decided to do in between the last video and this video. I found a couple mods. I guess they were in the showcase, I think. This one is the ScanSAT mod. You can add things on a satellite that can essentially make a map of Kerbin or whatever planetary body you go around, and you could do height maps and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So I decided I was going to test this thing out first on Kerbin to see how well it worked. So this is Mark 1 version of this craft. And eventually, you know, those 2 probes that we sent off at the beginning, they're not there anymore. So now we can take a probe out there that is this thing and map out Eeloo before we land on it, I guess. It should be pretty cool. I'm thinking if we stack 4 on top of each other of something similar to this with the ScanSAT thing on it, then we can get a pretty good landing site by just looking at the maps, I guess. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, in real world news, I just want to throw this out there. There's some pretty interesting stuff that happened this week. Pretty exciting, actually, as far as space travel goes. And a lot of you are probably watching this in the future. So a past week when I recorded this video, a lot of interesting stuff happened. India launched their rocket that's heading out to Mars. It'll make them the 4th country to get a probe to Mars, which is really cool. I think that is awesome. I'm glad that the strength of a nation is now being measured by the space travel that they can accomplish and not the bombs that they can build that can destroy a whole city. So that's pretty awesome. And in other words, as far as world unity goes, the Soyuz rocket launched off. Soyuz, is that how you say it? Soyuz rocket went up to the International Space Station recently. I guess it's sort of today for me when I'm recording this video, but what's cool, they brought up the Olympic torch. I thought that's really neat. The Olympic torch is going to do a spacewalk before it gets down to Earth and does its other walk. So that's neat. So you're probably noticing what's going on in the background here right now, and you're wondering, what is that stuff on the ground and in the sky? That looks like clouds. What? Maybe you're not saying it exactly like that, but yeah, this is another mod that I installed. This is called the City Lights and Clouds mod. It's really cool, actually. It adds city lights for nighttime on Kerbin, obviously no other planet. And it also adds clouds around Kerbin, which make the planet look very, very attractive, I think. Actually, apparently they're not just around Kerbin too. Some of the other planets are like Eve is completely covered in clouds. So that's actually pretty cool. You get into Eve and you can't even see the stars above you, which if Eve is an analog for Venus, then that's pretty much right. And I guess Duna actually has clouds. They look like Martian clouds. I don't know if any of you have seen Martian clouds before. Obviously not in person, but if you go to NASA's website and check out the Martian clouds, you can see them there. So here it is, scanning the ground, and this is me trying to figure out how to use this darn thing. I'm enjoying putting these giant satellite dishes. Obviously they're not going to be used because I'm doing this in sandbox mode. But yeah, I'm enjoying plugging those in. And so here it actually scans biomes, which is really cool. There's other ones that study altitude and slope, and I'll add those to the one that eventually goes out to Eeloo. But I just wanted to show you these couple of mods that I installed here that I want to use for the rest of this. So with that, I'm Weber. This has been RevEelooTion series. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, stay entertained.